Well, many have blamed the Murray's plight on, amongst other things, human-induced climate change. But Professor Ian Plimer says the notion of humans changing the climate has become a 21st century religion. In a new book that's bound to offend the true believers, the University of Adelaide's head of Earth Sciences argues climate change is simply a fact of life, and the atmospheric scientists and now the government have got it all wrong.
The greenhouse theory says if you pump too much carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases into the atmosphere, it's like adding an extra blanket. The heat from the sun is trapped and the earth heats up.
Oh, let the sun beat down upon my face.
But the Howard government, for one, worried over the science and the economics and ultimately decided not to sign the Kyoto Treaty, limiting Australia's greenhouse gas emissions. And along with the United States, it was roundly criticised for doing so.
The United States, with Australia and Canada, are the biggest polluters in this planet at the moment, and they've got cause to have a very large guilty conscience.
I am Al Gore. I used to be the next president of the United States of America. The Arctic is experiencing faster melting. If this were to go, sea level worldwide would go up 20 feet.
But Al Gore and others soon pushed the issue to the forefront of politics, and in December 2007, the new Rudd government signed up to the UN treaty. And the new Obama administration also said it would take action on climate change. But does that mean the debate over human-induced climate change is over? Well, not according to Professor Ian Plimer from the University of Adelaide.
I don't think humans change climate. It's the Earth and the stars and the sun that drives climate, not the atmosphere. This has been well established in the scientific literature for hundreds of years, and I was concerned that much of the popular thinking was driven by people only looking at the atmosphere and not looking at everything else, the whole picture.
Well, is the Earth heating up?
Well, it's currently cooling, but that doesn't mean that the Earth is cooling down, because we could be then coming into a cycle of warming up. It is quite normal for the planet to warm and cool. People really should be looking at the solar cycles, should be looking at tidal cycles, should be looking at orbital cycles, should be looking at galactic cycles, and then you can see that we have these cycles of climate change, and what we're measuring today, the rates of change and the amount of change is a lot less than we had 200 years ago or 1,000 years ago.
But the head of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, Sir John Horton, said, I think about 10 years ago, that he was most worried by the rate of change. And this is what Al Gore said in his film. So why are these people saying things that are different to you?
Well, Al Gore's a Hollywood identity, and Hollywood films are there to frighten us witless and to make people money. And his view is only about selling a movie. Sir John Horton's view has been shown to be incorrect, because if the rate of change was far greater than in the past, then we should have fried. We haven't. We're actually in a period of cooling, and that's been happening for the last decade.
You say that people that have placards saying stop climate change are stupid. Why?
Because climates always change, and climates have changed at the beginning of time, and we've had rapid climate changes and we've had slight climate changes. Some of the biggest ice ages we've ever had have been at times when we've had very high carbon dioxide. There has been and is no link. So the very fact that you hold up a placard saying stop climate change, it means that you haven't looked back in time, you have no understanding of history, archaeology or geology and the influence of climate on changing environments.
On that point, you say that scientifically a cow could be doing more damage than a four-wheel drive diesel motor car. Would you like to expand on that?
There was an article in the Frankfurter Allgemeine in Germany pointing out the amount of methane, which is a very potent greenhouse gas, that was emitted by a cow. And they did a thermodynamic calculation showing that the amount of energy that methane could release would be equivalent to driving a small turbocharged diesel car for 10,000 kilometres. So bovine creatures, or it's the bacteria in them, are creating huge amounts of methane, a greenhouse gas. Termites do the same, the bacteria and termites. We also get a lot of methane leaking out of soils and rocks. Never do we see those in the IPCC equations.
We've heard people talk like this before, and the green groups say, well, they're paid for by mining companies and coal lobbies and various other groups. Are you being paid by anyone to say this?
I'm being paid by the University of Adelaide, and the South Australian Government also pays some of my salary. As you would gather, my views are somewhat contrary to the South Australian Government's view. And I see that's what a university is about. But the rabid environmentalists have grasped onto this as a new religion, and they have their holy book, which is the IPCC books, which I haven't read, but most religious people haven't read the holy books anyway. They have their guru or their leader, which is Gore, and they blindly follow this without reasoning, without questioning. The basis of science is to question. It's to be sceptical. It is to abandon your favourite theory and try to actually build something that's a bit more coherent. And that they don't do. And I guess the most important point is, and the purpose of this book is to say that the science is not settled. Nature is very, very savage, drives very rapid climate changes, drives them very hard. We humans have adapted to live in this and to make major structural changes to society while we've got such division in science, I think is folly.
Thank you very much for your time. And that's Stateline for tonight. You can contact us at abc.net.au/stateline/SA.